Funding for Leah Chase, the Queen of Creole Cuisine, is made possible by the Whitney Institute, the Rhodes Family Businesses, the Dillard University Ray Charles Program in African American Material Culture, the Nellie Murray Feast Committee, Liberty Bank, McElhaney Company, Entergy Corporation, Richard and Linda Friedman, Harrah's New Orleans City Council Community Support Grant, Talbot Realty Group, New Orleans Auction, Susan and Fayez Seraphim, Patrick F. Taylor Foundation, International House, Metro Service Group, Richard's Disposal, Friends of Leah Chase, Chef Susan Spicer, and Ed Marshall.
In a city where good food and great hospitality aren't hard to find, there are those places that manage to stand out in the crowd of excellence. Dookie Chase's is one of those places, mostly because of the feisty chef who's been making it all happen here for the last 70 years, Leah Chase. You will still find her in the kitchen, cooking gumbo, making roux, telling everybody what to do.
The gift of Leah Chase to the world is every person who thinks black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter. When you think you cannot do it, all you have to do is look at her life story and say, you know what? If she can do it, I can do it. And she's happy to tell you that. That's Leah Chase to me.
Leah's gift to all of us is the art hanging in Dookie Chase Restaurant. Art by African American artists of international, national, and local fame.
People go there for Leah's food. I mean, it's great, and that's why they go there. I mean, if you go there and ask for a stuffed eggplant, my God, it'll be fantastic. And everybody in New Orleans loves stuffed eggplant. You look at the menu, you don't know what you can order.
No city in America who has anybody comparable to Leah Chase. She is uniquely New Orleans. She belongs to us and to the traditions and the spirit of the place. She epitomizes the depths and the meaning and the importance of this city.
I'm Michelle Miller, outside of Dookie Chase Restaurant, where the Queen of Creole Cuisine creates dishes for her customers that give them just a little bit of her soul. Her story really starts north of New Orleans, across Lake Pontchartrain, in the small town of Madisonville, Louisiana. Born on January 6, 1923, the first official day of the year's Mardi Gras season.
I came from a family that was really family-oriented, and we had a lot of children. My mother had raised 11 of us. 9
girls, 2 boys, and somehow they all fit in this shotgun house in the country. One of her sisters, Sylvia, still lives there. Her parents, Charles and Hortensia Lang, were strong Catholics. They believed in God and hard work. They grew vegetables and fruit trees, raised pigs, chickens, and turkeys, and had a 20-acre strawberry field to help with the family income.
So you had to walk 3 miles or 4 miles to pick those strawberries. And after you bend your back picking them all day, you had to walk back. And when you walk back, maybe you had a tub of clothes that waiting for you to wash.
Her father worked in the shipyards nearby and in the fields. His WPA job paid 50 cents a day, so everyone had to pitch in if they were all going to eat.
I remember one time Mother had a couple of turkeys. You remember that?
Lord, yes. Do I remember that
she
turkey?
was proud of her turkeys. And another thing, she was proud of her guinea hens.
Oh, that was the worst thing to ever put in the yard.
They were noisy, but they were good to eat.
They'd catch quail in the strawberry fields. Her mom would turn that into a sweet and savory meal of quail, grits, and plum sauce, a dinner Leah would one day serve to a president of the United States.
I think part of what the world is missing today is the dinner table in a big, big way. Meager food turned into masterpieces as far as we were concerned in our cast iron pot. It was at that table that we said grace, as Leah's table said grace. It was at that table that no matter how humble the food, it was served on the best platter you had.
They taught us that we sit down with the tablecloth. I remember the tablecloth. During the week we had oilcloth, but on Sunday you had a starched and iron tablecloth. Of course, it might have been made out of flour sacks that you washed and bleached and starched and embroidered, but you had a nice tablecloth.
On Sundays after church, they'd stay in town to watch the boats come in. Fishing boats, or better yet, ferries, full of people, some of them visitors from New Orleans. It was whites only on the top decks. Everyone else had to stay below. No one in her family ever said anything. That's just the way it was. Her father especially never spoke out.
He was never gonna rock the boat. Never. Not him. I'll never forget. He punished me one time because Miss Chatelier, you had to register your newborn babies with her. And I know I'm gonna be so modern and so big, I'm gonna fill out the papers. So I said, and I'm not gonna be colored. I'm not gonna be colored. Negro, I'm gonna put it. Oh, my daddy said, no. My daddy gave me a good whipping. Take that off of there and put colored on there. See, he was so passive, he wasn't gonna aggravate anybody. Not him.
When Leah was ready for high school at the age of 13, there were no high schools nearby for African American children. So her parents put her on the lower deck of the ferry to New Orleans to live with an aunt. She would go to St. Mary's Academy in the French Quarter, a Catholic school run by an order of black nuns. Her parents scraped to come up with her tuition of $10 a month.
It was bad in those days to be poor. It was, to me, worse than segregation because it wasn't like the poor today. They give people things and they try to up you. Back in those days, you were poor and that's it. You were not even noticed.
She graduated in 3 years and came home to work at a local boarding school. When she was 18, her father let her return to New Orleans, where she was expected to go to work in a sewing factory, just like her mom and her aunts and some of her sisters.
Instead of work the sewing factories, I went to work in the French Quarter as a waitress. Now that was a big no-no. But I could not see myself sitting down shooting out pants pockets all day long or sewing flaps or doing whatever, because that's what factories are, piecework. You make pants pockets, you set pants pockets, you make lapels, you set lapels or whatever. And I didn't do that. So my mind was always somewhere else.
So she found a job at the Colonial Restaurant on Charters in the French Quarter. It was her first time inside a restaurant.
I would work and ask the chef all kinds of things, and they would get angry with me because chefs get angry with you when you're butting in their business. But anyway, that's what I did. And I worked there until the woman opened the coffee pot. Then I helped her open the coffee pot.
And our first dish in New Orleans in a commercial restaurant was wiener jambalaya. And she was so excited because her pot of wiener jambalaya sold out in about 5 minutes. And the woman who owned the restaurant said, "You do that again tomorrow."
She learned, she practiced, and even picked up a few other jobs to earn money. She marked the racehorse board for a local bookie and even managed 2 amateur boxers at the Coliseum Arena in town. But it was the restaurant business that called her.
I worked the quarters, and I'll never forget, I used to pass by a restaurant all the time. I loved the chairs. It didn't bother me that I couldn't go in that restaurant. It's just those chairs that fascinated me. I always wanted this restaurant so bad. After I worked in the French Quarters, I said, I want this, I would like one like this. If I ever get somewhere, I'd like a restaurant.
Edgar Dookie Chase Jr. was playing in a band, his own band. The young man had been on the road since he was 16, playing trumpet and leading the band. Playing a gig in New Orleans one night in 1946, he saw Leah in the audience.
My band was playing for a carnival ball at the Labor Union Hall here in New Orleans. And I saw a pretty lady in the audience. And I told one of my men in the band to come take over the band for me. I was going to dance with that pretty person I saw over there, you know.
Well, I was good looking, had a nice shape, blah, 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 blah. So he wanted to meet me, so I got to meet him, and that was too funny. Another thing, my uncle used to say musicians were lazy people, musicians were this, musicians were not looked on as great people. I rather sports people, and I love people with physical and emotional strength. They always fascinated me.
While not her type, they hit it off right away.
By the time I met him, I was, 22 years old. And would you believe he was only 18? So, and it just went from there, you know, we went everywhere together.
It was a fast romance. Within 3 months, they were married, and within a few years, they had a growing family. They would have 4 children, 3 girls and 1 boy. It just so happened that Dookie's parents owned a little tavern, a bar really, in the other half of their shotgun double in the historic Treme neighborhood of New Orleans. They served drinks and an occasional sandwich. His mom, Emily, mostly ran the place. Edgar Dookie Sr. liked that it was successful.
He dressed up in his diamond ring and his diamond stick pin and his diamond watch, and he just looked good. And she liked to look at him look good, so that worked well.
Soon as the children grew a bit older, Leah volunteered to help out at the restaurant, and she had some ideas of her own to change the place, starting with the menu.
So I said, no, we got to change this. For one thing, we're going to change this menu. So I'm going to put lobster thermidor on the menu. Oh, these black folks don't know nothing about lobster thermidor. We're going to put shrimp cocktail on. Nobody knew what a shrimp cocktail was. They thought it was something to drink. Black folks we didn't go in restaurants. It was only people like us who worked in there who knew what went on. We couldn't go in there to see what went on. So everybody said, oh, she's going to ruin your business. She's just going to run you out of business, this, that, and the other. So I had to back up. Now let me do what I know how to do. Let me do what I see them do at home. So then I start with stuffed chicken breast. Black folks did that. They stuffed chicken with oyster dressing. They made grillades. They made veal pane. So I started putting that on, and it worked.
So it became her version of Creole cooking, a mix of Spanish, French, and African. She also wanted to make it a really nice restaurant with tablecloths and chairs she'd seen and loved from the restaurants in the quarter.
But my mother-in-law was, the thing that got her most is not so much the change into the menu, is the decor. She couldn't see eye to eye with me on the decor. She liked pink and blue. I hate pink and blue. I thought pink and blue looked like a baby cradle or something. But she liked pink and blue. So I said, we changing this dining room. We putting red in here. So I put red on the wall.
Walls became red and gold, brighter colors for an expanded space. The entire double was now a restaurant, and she finally got those chairs, just like the ones in the French Quarter restaurants.
So that's the first thing I wanted to find me a chair like that. So it took some doing with my mother-in-law because she wanted her steel leg chairs with the plastic covers. No, I want this chair. So, and I've had these chairs since 1957, and I'm pretty proud of them.
She was molding her dream, and she wanted to share it.
So when I look at Leah's gift to the world, it's that message that no matter where you come from, no matter what the poverty you experience in your life, the social aspect that was never shown to you, the ability to even walk in a restaurant was not for you. But yet, to push all of that out of the way, all of that fog, to clear the room and say, you know what, here I am, and it's all up to me. Nobody's going to give me anything.
Dookie Chase's was becoming the place to go, the only place at first. She had taken a tavern and turned it into a tablecloth dining experience.
Blacks had nowhere else to go, to any restaurant of any real quality and really outstanding aesthetic than at Dookie's.
Leah poured everything she had into the restaurant. Her husband Dookie took care of the money. She took care of everything else. She was a natural.
Dookie was always behind the bar at the cash register, but she was all over the place because when you went there, she just didn't cook. She cooked, but then she came out and was, if you wanted her to be a part of it, she would. And if you invited her to talk, she would. But she wanted you to know that you were welcome there.
And of course, it was the only place the black celebrities could eat. I don't know whether you were talking about King Cole or whether you were talking about Duke Ellington and Sarah Vaughan. Anybody who was anything in the music world came to Dookie's when they came to New Orleans.
Many of those famous faces grace the walls and her memory.
Anything you cook, it brings back memories. Everybody who came through my restaurant, Lena Horne, who liked her fried chickens, Sarah Vaughan, who liked her stuffed crabs, and Quincy Jones and all those people who love gumbo. Michael Jackson with his sweet potato pies. You think about them every time you cook.
I never lost my heart while stealing a glance, taking a chance, trying romance, but when your eyes hang out that danger sign, ooh, kick-a-rooney.
The funniest thing was when Nat Cole came, he asked for his eggs, so Dookie called me all excited. I was still at home. He said, Nat Cole is here and he wants fermented eggs. Fermented eggs, do you know what that is? I said, no, but I'm coming down there now. And you had to know how Nat spoke, kind of through his nose and he wanted a 4-minute egg. So I had to give him his 4-minute eggs.
Ooh, kick-a-rooney, that's all.
Celebrities loved her. But it's the not-so-famous people who really help make this what it is. It's those who spent time here, made memories here.
Some of the brothers who had, more than one girlfriend couldn't go anywhere else, so they tried. So, the worst place you could go and try to, hide from your number one lady would be Dookie Chase, right? And so there were incidents like that. What were you thinking,
Whether it was just a night out or a prom date, anniversary, whatever special or regular dinner out, the reputation of Dookie Chase's was spreading beyond its walls, beyond the neighborhood, beyond the city.
Ray Charles had these famous lyrics about, going to Dookie Chase, trying to get something to eat. The waitress looked at me and said, Ray, you sure look beat. So that was a blues song called Early in the Morning, which was very, very popular, not only in New Orleans, but all over the country. So the mention that he made of Dookie's, just made people aware of it everywhere.
Hello and welcome into the LPB studios. I'm Robin Merrick, joined by my dear friend Betsy Miller, and we are talking all things Leah Chase. She is the queen of Creole cuisine in New Orleans and beyond, I will say.
Absolutely. She was a racehorse who started some of that Creole cuisine in New Orleans, and Dookie Chase still exists and is rocking and rolling forward.
That's right, world-renowned restaurant in New Orleans. And we're here to tell you about all the things Leah Chase. And we're celebrating coming up on her, what would have been her 100th birthday in January.
That is amazing.
That is amazing. That is amazing. We had her for so many years, and she's such a treasure to Louisiana. And we're so honored to be able to celebrate her, to continue to celebrate her here at LPB.
And what she means to Louisiana and what you mean to us here at Louisiana Public Broadcasting. We hope that you love this so much you want to pick up the telephone and make your pledge of support right now. All you need to do is call 888-769-5000, or you can text GIVE to that same number, 888-769-5000, or on your secure device, your iPad, your iPhone, your Android device, you can go to lpb.org and make your gift.
That's right, and we're looking to hear from you because we know you're enjoying the program that you're watching right now, and you want to continue to help us to bring these kinds of programs to you each and every day. And the way to do that is giving us a call, and the way that we say thank you when you call us is with some amazing thank you gifts. And we have some just for this program specifically.
We have some very special Leah Chase gifts. We have the Leah Chase combo. If you become a sustaining member at this program with $20 a month, we have lots of lovely gifts to share with you. The first is the Leah Chase And I Still Cook cookbook. The second is the Dookie Chase cookbook. We also have a pair of mugs, which you can see right here in front of us, and the program to this DVD. That's at the $20 level. For a gift of $12 a month, you get both of the cookbooks. For a gift of $9 a month, you get the 2 coffee cups,
mugs, yes.
And for a gift of $6 a month, you get the program that we're watching today, which is very meaningful because it really talks about Leah's history.
It does.
Becoming a chef, her time in New Orleans, her commitment to the community, and many of the very special things that have happened at her restaurant.
I know, and some of these things are still continuing to happen. But we've got something even more special that happens at the restaurant, and that's an opportunity for you to have a dinner for 4. So we're looking to hear from the very first credit card pledge of $750 or more, and you will receive a dinner for 4. And that dinner will be at Dookie Chase's restaurant in New Orleans, along with a Louisiana spice box. Amazing box of things put together. Each box is going to be unique, and so you'll get that plus all of the gifts for tonight's show. So that's everything that Betsy has shared with us.
Yes.
That's the mugs, that's the cookbooks, and the DVD of today's program. You can get all of that. And dinner for 4, so that's you and 3 of your besties.
That's it.
Can come together at Dookie Chase and have an amazing, amazing time there.
And we can sweeten the pot even more because right now we have a member pledge support from the Friends of Louisiana Public Broadcasting.
That's right.
So they will match dollar for dollar up to $1,500 your gift to help support what Louisiana Public Broadcasting does. So pick up that phone, 888-769-5000, and make that pledge. We also have something very special to share with you. Chef John Foltz was very good friends with Leah Chase.
Friend.
Very good friends. And so John has been a friend of ours here in the studio. We filmed many of his shows here, and he's taken a moment to share some of his special time with Leah Chase. So let's watch that now.
I have a treasure trove of memories with my baby Leah Chase. I met Leah on a flight to New York City for the Chef Showcase at Bloomingdale's in the early 80s. I stirred up my chicken and andouille gumbo. Leah made her gumbo zab. Afterwards, we went to dinner at Carnegie Deli. When we walked in, the place went crazy with applause. Well, I thought for sure they were clapping for me and my Cajun gumbo, only to discover that Leah Chase had stolen the show with her gumbo zab. She was the queen of Creole cooking ever since. You can steal the show too with your contribution to Louisiana Public Broadcasting. Happy 100th birthday, Leah Chase.
It is always great to see Chef John Fosse in any form, and so to know his relationship with Leah Chase.
And with us.
That's
He
right.
is
And
such a charmer.
LPB,
It's
yes, he
unbelievable.
is.
Yes.
He is. But to hear him talk about his relationship with Leah is awesome, and you can tell it runs very deep for many years, and this is really a beautiful moment for us here at LPB.
Well, one thing that was really neat that Leah did is that she combined her experience of Spanish cuisine, French cuisine,
right.
and African cuisine, and married those together to create her own special joie de vivre at her restaurant. And so that is totally captured in what we are offering. And let me remind you of some of our specials that we have as thank yous if you make your pledge now by calling 888-769-5000 or by using your computer or laptop, lpb.org, or texting GIVE 888-769-5000. But for your sustaining gift of $20 a month, you will receive the Leah Chase combo, which includes her first cookbook, Leah Chase, and I Still Cook. You also will receive the Dookie Chase cookbook. You receive a pair of the Dookie Chase mugs and the program DVD of the program that we're watching now. That's at the $20 level. At the $12 a month level, you receive both of the cookbooks that you just saw. For $9 a month, you get the coffee mugs that are right here in front of us, which are quite handsome. And for $6 a month, you will receive the program that you're watching. So if you're a fan of Leah's, now's the time to do that, and you can have this memory and keep it for forever.
That's right. So. And we've got, of course, our credit card offer as well. So if you're the first person to give us a call at $750 on your credit card, you will get all of these gifts that Betsy just shared with us, all of them, along with a dinner for 4. So that's you and 3 of your friends or whoever you decide to bring with you to Dookie Chase, and get a chance to experience Leah's recipes right there for yourself. And we've got the great spice box as well that comes along with that package. And each of our spice boxes are very unique. And Betsy's got one to show us right here. Each of our spice boxes are unique, and
well, they're individually crafted for you, and they contain
all Louisiana products.
It's not just food and spices, but we have things like fishing lures. You may find some Louisiana-made alcoholic beverages. We have lots of special things here, so
we got to hear from you though, so you can find out what's going to be in your box.
It's a super special, super special. I'm telling you, the dinner at Dookie Chase for 4 is well worth
awesome.
it in and of itself.
It is, indeed it is. And so, you know, we've had an opportunity to talk with Leah's children.
Yes.
Stella and Edgar III, and we did that as part of a Safe Haven Green Book special that was aired right here on LPB. So we want to show you guys a clip of that real fast.
What is y'all's signature dish here?
So the signature dish here is the gumbo, and there's a reason why it's the gumbo, because Mrs. Chase, our mother, said that was over a bowl of gumbo that she and my family helped change the world. So she said she can solve any problems over a bowl of gumbo. So if you have any problems, you might want to tell us about it.
Leah Chase, the celebrity chef known as the Queen of Creole Cuisine, knew that a good meal had the power to bring a community together and provide strength during tough times.
Oh, that was awesome. Stella and Edgar III talking about their dear sweet mother, who was a 2007 Louisiana legend right here for LPB.
I think that's one of the amazing things that LPB has done is we have recognized real Louisiana legends.
That's
and
right.
There have been lots of them. So it's very special for us.
It is.
She's one of those.
Very special, and special that we're able to do these types of programs and to air these types of programs. So we want to hear from you. 888-769-5000 is the number to call. lpb.org if you want to get us online. Yes. That's the way you can do it, but we want to hear from you, and we've got great thank you gifts.
And I want to remind you of our thank you gifts. So at the $20 a month level, you get this whole combination of everything except the spice box. That comes at the $750.
Right.
But we have a $12 a month package, the $9 a month package, and the $6 a month package. But one thing that I want to remind you of, when you become a member, you also qualify for Passport, which gives you access to a whole slew of things that you get to watch on your timetable. The other thing that I want to mention is that when you become a member, you get Visions, which is your monthly program guide of everything that's happening. And the other thing is Louisiana Life magazine, which comes out 6 times a year. This is a fabulous magazine about Louisiana culture, road trips, food, food, fun, fanciful, everything. So
Everything.
it's just super. So we would really hope that you would want to become a member of Louisiana Public Broadcasting, and this show, we think, makes it easy. And also, thank you to Friends of Louisiana Public Broadcasting for your matching gift.
And we'll be back a little later. Back to the program.
While food certainly played its part in her story, there were other roles Leah and Dookie Chase played in history.
You know, in this restaurant, in some ways, we really changed the course of America when you think about it. Because we had all the civil rights people planning things here, and then they would go out and come back. And I say we changed the course of America over a bowl of gumbo.
Early on, eating a bowl of Leah's gumbo, or anything she cooked, was only available to those of her own race. The Louisiana legislature had made it against the law for whites and blacks to eat or drink or gather in the same building. No mixing of color or culture. Voices calling for civil rights were getting louder. Sit-ins and school desegregation issues played out on streets and on the TV. There were shouts, there were whispers, and on this corner in Tremé at Dookie Chase's restaurant, there were civil conversations over dinner.
When the civil rights movement came along, the Chase family, and Leah especially, had the courage to allow us to have meetings between blacks and whites during the 60s, during the era. So blacks and whites could meet there and eat there, which was illegal.
The Freedom Riders who rode interstate buses into and through the South challenging segregation would find their way to Dookie Chase's. Civil activists, black and white, would gather here in secret and safety. Actually, Leah and Dookie didn't set out to be freedom fighters. They were hoping for easy, peaceful change. They didn't want to lose what they built here. But they weren't about to turn away those who were pushing forward, pushing boundaries.
She was ground zero. You know, people could go there all hours of the night. And there used to be a long, narrow room sort of upstairs. And that's where a lot of those civil rights meetings were held, because it didn't interfere with the business downstairs. And they were talking high-level strategy, you know, and felt very welcomed.
History was made at Dookie Chase in that upper room. Thurgood Marshall, Constance Baker Motley, A.P. Turo, my husband, Jack Greenberg, and a number of other legal giants strategized right there at Dookie Chase.
I think she provided an environment of security. And I remember asking her once, well, if I bring some of these white kids in here and so forth and so on, what if the police come? She said, the police will not come in here. They're not coming in my restaurant. You know? And you don't have to worry about that.
And they never flinched, you know. The cops would never come in there. They'd be outside, but they never bothered us, blacks or whites.
You had policemen that was over this district, and they got to know you, so they protected you. They would come in and my mother-in-law would fix them a sandwich, treat them to a sandwich. Now you can't do that, that's illegal. They think you bribe. But she didn't do that as a bribe. She was just grateful for their help wherever she could get it, whatever they did, you know, or the protection that the neighborhood had.
We felt free, that in this little zone of freedom, we could plan and do everything without fear of getting arrested at Dookie's. That don't mean when we left, you know, then we back to normal racist America. But while we were in there, nobody felt any intimidation whatsoever.
Just one time they had a pipe bomb. Somebody passed in the car and threw a pipe bomb. And that went through the door, through the bar, but nobody was hurt by that. So, yeah, patch the wall up and keep going. What the heck? You just do that.
They all just kept on going. Those strategy meetings held here, while against the law, did help change the laws. Being able to work together, even in secret, made a difference. And while segregation and racism were real and rampant, New Orleans did not have the level of bloodshed and destruction seen in other southern cities.
But the reason it went easier in New Orleans, because in New Orleans, different than other cities, we live together. You know, just look at this area. We had Miss Conforto live over her grocery there. She was Italian. We had white people living in the next block. We had black people living here, white people living there. So you see, we knew one another. We lived together, so we knew one another. We didn't go into your house. We didn't socialize with you, but you knew me, and I knew you. So that made it a little bit easier than it did in Mississippi.
While the struggle for equal rights was still painfully slow, a lot more people now knew about Dookie Chase's, the place and the taste.
I remember some very dear friends of mine during the civil rights problems. And everybody, they were using Leah's place to meet. And some of my friends said to me, you know, this has got to be some of the best food I ever put in my mouth.
Many went back, and Leah's reputation for both cooking and caring grew.
Even white people revered her so much. You know, they saw her humanity and her, you know, she didn't care about racial differences and so on, and she behaved the same way toward everybody. And I think anybody who ever encountered her had to be impressed.
Leah Chase began to get involved in more and more causes and campaigns. She helped Ebony magazine put on its first fashion fair. The hugely popular event would eventually go nationwide, but its debut raised money for the Flint Goodrich Hospital, at the time the only private hospital in New Orleans that granted staff privileges to African American surgeons. Leah was one of the first to financially support her friend Ernest Dutch Morial in his successful 1977 political campaign. He became the first African-American mayor of New Orleans. Leah and Dookie would later join him in another campaign, one that would bring the world to Louisiana.
My husband was mayor when there was an effort to get the World's Fair to come here. And he took a cadre of people from all professions to France. He took Leah and Dookie Chase with him, and they made a grand presentation. So they were an important cog in that wheel to bring the World's Fair here to New Orleans.
Her generosity didn't stop at fairs and fashion shows. She always seemed ready to step up, to help out wherever she was needed.
This city was at one time predominantly Catholic. We didn't work on November 1st because that was All Saints' Day. We went to the cemetery on that day and nobody worked, no schools open, no nothing. And you spent the day in the cemeteries. You wore your good dress in the cemetery, you had food, you put flowers on the tombs.
Just like the savory aromas coming from her kitchen and the sounds of her family voices, faith has always been a familiar part of Leah's life.
You know, all of these children you see, my mother had 11 of us. We all pray every day. We all go to church. And because that's the way we came up. I told you, my daddy told us all you need to do in life is 3 things. You need to pray, you need to work, and do for others, in that order.
There was no mystery to it. You follow the 10 Commandments, as simple as that. You share the little bit you have with whoever needs it. You don't complain about what you don't have. And then you grow up, you never forget your family, and you go out and you represent your family to the world in the best way you can.
How many orders Cleo has in there?
Food seemed to be Leah's best way. For her, it's always been entwined with family and faith.
And one priest comes through here, he said, Leah, do you know that's where the po' boy come from? Jesus and the fish and the loaves. So I said, okay, Father, I'll take that too. But, you know, it tells you that that's how you get with people. You feed them, you make them happy. You can talk over a lot of things over some food.
One of her most talked about specials only appears one day a year on Holy Thursday, the day before Good Friday. Actually, the only entrees on the menu that day, fried chicken and a special gumbo, made with an odd number of greens. She uses 9. It's a long-standing Lent tradition that goes way back. Leah believes you make a new friend for every green in the pot.
They made this gumbo zerb that we have veal stew in it, 2 kinds of sausage, chicken, ham, everything. And on Holy Thursday, you didn't get really anything to eat until Lent was over, and that was at noon on Saturday back in those days.
Over the years, her faith has led her to do good works with her food and her money. But to her, it's more than a responsibility. It's a way of life.
Your job is what feeds your face and buys your clothes, but your work on earth is to do God's will, is to help somebody else up, is to better the world you live in.
Her success allowed her to help different causes and issues, support fundraisers. She still cooks and gives away food for special events, using her name and her talents to lend a hand.
Oh, what the heck, You give away some, it'll come back. And I never planned on getting rich. I never planned on having a lot of things for myself. So it didn't bother me, that I felt good if I was given something.
Those who know her or know of her see that side of Leah Chase, the matter-of-fact, determined woman who often finds ways to help without all of the fanfare.
The Bible says you will know a tree by its fruit. And, the fruit of Leah Chase is love, compassion, mercy. Now, she's tough. She believes in personal responsibility. She believes in hard work. She wants you to get up early. Right? She wants you to stay late, but she also believes in the communion of human beings.
When tragedy struck in 1990, it was faith and work that kept Leah Chase going. The sudden death of her oldest daughter, Emily, who had worked side by side with her in the kitchen, broke her heart.
I remember when my daughter died. That was the hardest thing in the world. She went home, she worked here, and she went home at 5 o'clock, and I knew she was in trouble. She was pregnant, couldn't deliver that baby, something was wrong, I don't know what. 1 o'clock that morning, she was dead, just died. That was a hard blow. But I had to get up that next morning and open this restaurant. You could cry, you could stay home, nothing is going to bring that person back. But what people don't understand is when you're tough, or they think you're tough like that, they look at you as if you don't have any feelings at all. They don't understand. The tough and the strong have the same feelings as the weak. You have the same hurt, you just don't show it.
Her strength and determination often show up with a smile. It's how she greets her guests, her friends, even strangers.
If I could just make a difference, that would be the only thing. If you live a life and you look back and you say, well, I did make a difference. I did something that bettered the world or uplifted somebody. And that's all you do.
She has a lot of words of wisdom, and she isn't shy about sharing. Some she's learned along the way, some she's carried all her life.
You see, Rudy, my mother told me, if you wanted to succeed in a man's world, she said, you got to think like a man, dress like a girl, act like a woman, and work like a slave. So, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember it per se.
It was something like that. And to that recipe, Leah Chase added passion for faith, for family, and for food. And somewhere along the way, a friend introduced her to the art world. In the mid-70s, Leah Chase started to see things in a different way, through the eyes of artists.
Urged by her good friend, Celestine Cook, Miss Chase took a board position here at the New Orleans Museum of Art. This began an awakening in her midlife.
I had a good friend that she was on the museum board. She was the only African American on that board. So when she got off the board, she said, "I'm going to put your name up." I said, "Don't do that, because I do not know anything about it." She said, "But you will learn."
With a lot of help and advice, Leah took her own small step into the art world. She bought a poster. It was from a collection done by the famous African American artist, Jacob Lawrence.
From then on, she was educating herself in African American artwork that she could collect. So I think she started collecting Elizabeth Catlett's work. She also bought something from one of the local star artists at the time, Richard Thomas, that hangs in the restaurant. I think from then on, like most art collectors who start collecting, that bug started to gnaw at her, and then one turned into two, and it's turned into 30 works or so of art that, hang within the confines of the restaurant.
The gift she has given to all of us is an art gallery, a museum. Someone who would never put foot in a museum can come into Dookie Chase, order a po' boy, and be in the midst of all of this wonderful art by African American artists. That's a gift that nobody else has replicated.
At the time, nobody showed African American artwork in galleries. They didn't have that. So if I put it on my wall, people will see it. And well, first people thought I was crazy. They said, "This is a restaurant, it's not a museum, it's blah, 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 blah." I said, "But it's mine." So I just went out there and put it up.
Among her favorites, the stained glass serves as a divider between a serving hallway and the dining room.
And I told him I wanted to put stained glass there. So my husband, I like stained glass, but Dookie thought I was going to put church windows.
Instead, she commissioned the panels to capture her own memories.
This was a double. One side was this, so my neighbor could be in her blinds and I could be in mine. We could talk, but nobody would see us. So I remember they used to play that game, Rock Teacher. You would sit on the bottom step and then you'd have your hands crossed. The rock would be, so to guess what hand the rock was in, and if you guessed it, you went up a step. But I like what he did there because, there are mixtures of color in our community. So look, you have different color hands.
She felt it only right to help the artists who were giving so much to the world through their painting by buying their work, encouraging their success, even cooking up some supplies.
And I'm proud of my handshakes because I have a friend that's an artist and he's doing a piece of art with bones, so I saved him all the bones. So my bones will be saved. They will go into a work of art. So, artists are weird. Good people, but weird.
A quality that over the years she's enjoyed and appreciated and championed. In 1995, Leah was called to testify before the U.S. House Appropriations Subcommittee, where she defended funding for the National Endowment for the Arts. Artist Gustave Blanche began a project in 2009 that would capture Leah Chase in her favorite place, the kitchen. 20 paintings, one of them now hangs in the Smithsonian National Portrait Gallery. It's titled Cutting Squash.
It's almost as though she's a senator and we're Senator to Washington in some form or fashion, but to have her represent us in the National Portrait Gallery where presidents' portraits are, she's our representative, and I can't think of a greater honor to at least play somewhat of a role in this, great achievement.
Many other honors and awards have Leah's name engraved on them in recognition of her culinary skills and also for her contribution to culture and community.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Isn't this wonderful?
If you name an award in American food, there's thousands of them. But I can guarantee you between the biggest ones that everybody recognizes, all the Hall of Fame awards, National Restaurant Hall of Fame, the Culinary Review, the James Beard Foundation, the Southern Food and Beverage. I mean, you name it. For me to start naming Leah Chase's awards, it'll take me for an hour and a half because she's got them all, and deservingly so.
Hi and welcome back. I'm Robin Merrick and you're watching Leah Chase, the Queen of Creole Cuisine, and I am being joined right now by Betsy Miller, my dear friend, and we've been enjoying this program and chatting about Leah Chase.
What an amazing woman and
right.
an important part of food heritage in New Orleans.
Indeed.
Not just food, but food and culture, because she was a real stand-up woman that made impacts all across the board.
She did.
Culture,
and
cooking.
beyond New Orleans. I mean, she's a staple in New Orleans, of course, but her reach ended up being national and international. So Leah Chase is indeed world-renowned. Dookie Chase's restaurant is indeed world-renowned. And we're very glad to call all of that home, call all of that ours here in Louisiana, and really excited that we have the opportunity to share this on Louisiana Public Broadcasting.
And
we hope
these
kinds of programs.
Absolutely, and we hope that you want to share back with us by becoming a member. So now's the time to pick up that phone, 888-769-5000, or on your smart device, you can go to lpb.org, or you can text a gift to us at give@888-769-5000. So we hope to hear the phones ringing. Now's the time to pick up the phone. And
yes, during this break is a great time to stop and give us that call or go online, and whichever way you choose, it's a good time to do that right now. We are really, again, so excited. We've got thank you gifts too. Remember, anytime we are here and we're taking a break from the program, we've got a chance to say thank you with an amazing gift. So
yes, and I have a list of those for you, so I'm going to share those with you right now. For a $20 gift a month, which makes you a sustaining member, you receive the Leah Chase combo, which includes 2 of her cookbooks, Leah Chase and I Still Cook cookbook, and the Dookie Chase cookbook. You also receive a pair of Dookie Chase mugs, which are lovely, and you get a copy of this program DVD, so you can watch it or rewatch it at your own convenience. For a gift of $12 a month, you get the combination of both cookbooks. For a gift of $9 a month, you receive the pair of Dookie Chase mugs, and for a gift of $6 a month, you will receive the copy of the DVD for this program. So we hope that you find this interesting and that you want to have a sustaining memory of Leah Chase.
That's right.
Now's the time to pick up that phone, 888-769-5000, and make that gift, and we will remember you. Plus, we have a special credit card, and I want to say thank you to the Friends of Louisiana Public Broadcasting Board members who have made a matching gift to us in this program, a matching gift of $1,500 that will match dollar for dollar all of the gifts that come in. So pick up that phone now. It's important to you and it's important to us.
It is.
Tell us about the special.
I'm excited about the credit card special. So you know, if the first credit card that we receive at $750 or more, you will receive a dinner for 4 at Dookie Chase. So you get a chance to experience these great recipes all for yourself because they're all still there. They all still taste really great. So that's you and 3 others to join you, along with all of the gifts that you heard this evening. So all of the great thank you gifts that we have in place, you will receive those. And on top of all of that, I should add, we've got this great box that will be crafted just for you, curated, I should say, just for you and your likes. It's all Louisiana products, so it's all kinds of things. It'll be spices, it'll be food, there'll be some cultural things that you may enjoy. There'll be a number of things in that box, but you get a chance to get all of that at the $750 level, and that is credit card only. So call us, 888-769-5000. That's how you can reach us, or lpb.org.
And we have a special note from our good friend John Foltz, who has been a part of the LPB family for a long time. John and Leah Chase were very good friends, and John talks a little bit, we have a little roll-in from him about his favorite memory with Leah. They were king and queen of Mardi Gras. So let's see what John has to say.
One of my happiest memories with Leah Chase is when she was crowned queen and I was crowned king of the crew of Lafcadio Hearn Marching Parade in 2017. Our float was a mule-driven carriage followed by costume marchers, New Orleans brass bands, and New Orleans culinarians who lined the streets for miles waving those wooden spoons. What a privilege to sit beside and honor Leah Chase. What a remarkable legacy she leaves behind. You can leave a legacy too with your financial support of Louisiana Public Broadcasting. Happy birthday, Leah Chase.
You know, Betsy, one of the things that was so great about Leah, and we can say the same about John Foltz as well, is her ability to take a lot of different types of cooking styles and merge them into one and really make them her own. So we've got Spanish, we've got African, we've got the Creole mix coming into play, we've got French going on, and Leah was able to really merge these things, and we can see it showing up specifically in the cookbooks.
Absolutely, and what we would call the melange. It's the perfect merge. But this is why the gifts that we have that are so special, the Leah Chase combo, for your sustaining gift at the $20 level, you get both of her cookbooks, Leah Chase and I Still Cook, and you also get the Dookie Chase cookbook. In addition to that, you get the mugs, you get the program DVD. For a gift of $12 a month, you get the double cookbooks. For a gift of $9 a month, you receive the Dookie Chase mugs, and at $6, you get the DVD of this program that we're watching. So pick up the phone, 888-769-5000. We hope that you find this valuable. You can text us, give at that number, or go to lpb.org, because Leah certainly is a special part of Louisiana culture and cuisine, particularly in New Orleans.
Truly a Louisiana treasure, and so much so that Kara St. Cyr on the Louisiana State we're in, she's a co-host there. She did a special series on the Green Book and Safe Haven, those spots in Louisiana that were part of the Green Book. And, you know, Dookie Chase's was one of those locations that was very safe for African Americans during that time. And so she's really a part of the civil rights history, the civil rights fabric of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana. And Kara got a chance to talk to her children. Once again, that is Edgar III. I always want to say Little Dookie because that's what they call him. But Edgar III, as well as her daughter Stella. So let's hear a little bit from that interview.
So people were really staying out here till 4 in the morning?
Oh, yeah.
It was a party then.
Well, that's where the song from Ray Charles came back, early in the morning, because it was after he did his gigs, as they told, and did it for everyone. He couldn't go and eat everywhere, and we weren't far from the municipal auditorium down the street, so he came here. And that's why his song says, early in the morning, I went to Dookie to get something to eat. So we were open to 4.
Or 5:30 on Saturday.
Yeah.
So when all these musicians come through, they would pass the word. If you want to be welcome in New Orleans, you go to Dookie's.
And when my grandparents opened the business, it was in a Louisiana Weekly that they opened this business so people could come here and have good times, good fun in a safe environment. And so that's what they did.
And you know, Betsy, in addition to the things that we hear her children talk about, you know, Ray Charles even included in his song, one of his songs, he talked about Dookie Chases and how it would stay open and he'd be able to go there, and he worked it into one of the lyrics.
Absolutely, musicians late at night, because she stayed open late and she would serve that culture in that community who was looking for some place to eat after hours. You know, in addition to that, you know, Leah was instrumental in helping get the 1984 World's Fair here in Louisiana, which is important. That was, I remember that because I was part of that, and Jim Brandt was also an important part of that as well. But again, we'd like to say thank you to everyone, and especially thank you to our friends of Louisiana Public Broadcasting Board for their matching gift. Please make your pledge during this break, because they will match it up to $1,500, 888-769-5000. And remember that for all of the specials, we know that you become a member because you love Louisiana Public Broadcasting, not just to get the gifts. The gifts are an extra special thank you that we share with you. But to remind you that with your gift, you get access to Louisiana Life, which comes out 6 times a year. You get Visions magazine, which is our monthly program guide, but also you qualify for Passport, which is an important way that you can watch public broadcasting television programming at your time, at your schedule, however you wish to do it. So it's important to do that. So pick up the phone, 888-769-5000, and let's hear from you.
Let's hear from you, indeed. Now's the time to call and tell us how much you are really appreciating the programming that you see here on LPB, and specifically this program as well, because we are so enjoying everything about Leah Chase and the miraculous things that she did through that restaurant.
And one thing to remember, that when you vote with your gift to us, your vote tells us the kind of programming that you like to watch. And that's important to us because we have started the Louisiana Production Fund, and we have lots of members who have given specifically to the Louisiana Production Fund so that we can do culture-specific programming aimed and targeted at our unique Louisiana history.
That's right.
One that's coming up, Why Louisiana Ain't Mississippi, which is an important, interesting, funny cultural retrospective. So pick up the phone, make that pledge now.
We're going to go back to the program and we'll be back a little later.
Hi there, and welcome to Creole Cooking with Leah Chase.
Leah's popularity led her to step out of her kitchen and into a TV studio kitchen, where she showed a regional audience just how she made that flavor come alive.
It's better than my wood stove was when I was coming up. On the wood stove, you had to really work. But this way you can just cook it up a little bit, see?
But it was her friendship with Louisiana chef John Foles that helped introduce Leah to the rest of the world.
I want to bring out the queen of Creole cooking, Leah Chase. Leah, where are you? Come on out here, sweetheart.
He had her on his own TV cooking show a few times, but when the two of them hit the road together, they conquered the country with Cajun and Creole cuisine.
I had an opportunity. I had an event in Philadelphia, and I called Leah and I said, Leah, they want me to come up and do Cajun and Creole, a presentation in Philadelphia. Will you come and do the Creole, the African, the Creole side, and I'll do Cajun, and let's see what happens. She said, absolutely. And I'll never forget walking onto a stage of about 1,000 people in this massive auditorium, biggest crowd I ever saw. And I walked up on the stage and I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Chef John Foles, and here's my wife, Leah Chase. And Leah looked at me and she said, the South ain't got that forward. And the crowd went wild. And we realized we had a show. We realized we had just created the John Foles, Leah Chase, Cajun and Creole experience.
He said, one time I was his mama. I said, John, don't tell people I'm your mama. Look, your daddy gets your daddy, you're going to say, what's happening? Where was the dad? Don't tell people that, you know. And sometimes I'd be his wife. I say, John, you're going to get in trouble here.
Even those who couldn't get to New Orleans in person would get to know Leah Chase.
Because it's more than just food, and it's more than just celebrity. It's culture, it's ongoing, and it's enriching. So we're very lucky to have that.
A part of her world now resides in another section of the Smithsonian. Her red chef's jacket is on permanent display inside the National Museum of African American History and Culture.
I love food, and I love to eat it, I love to serve it, and it makes people happy.
For most of her life, this has been her life. She thinks better and feels better here. And so when she lost this precious space, it almost crushed her. In August of 2005, Hurricane Katrina swept through the New Orleans area, washing away lives and levees. The devastation hit every single person, if not physically, certainly emotionally. And those who'd left, evacuated, had no idea what they would find and what Katrina left behind.
When I got to Birmingham and beginning to see what was happening, it didn't soak in at first. I My grandson was here, he was a fireman, and I kept telling him, I'm coming home, I'm coming to do this. He said, I'm telling you, grandmother, you cannot come.
Her home, her family's homes, her beloved restaurant, all ruined.
There were fogs all over the place, there was everything. It was just, and then you come back and there are all these flies that have gone. It was the worst thing in the world. The worst thing in the world you're gonna ever see. You don't know what to do, where to start.
She remembers going to a grocery store in Baton Rouge and seeing a crown roast. She started to cry.
And the lady said, well, don't worry, Miss Chase, it's coming, you're gonna soon have some. But I felt like an idiot, just standing up there crying in the store because I had no place to cook.
But I looked for Leah for weeks after Katrina, miserable that I couldn't find her. And then finally somebody called me and said, John, she's in Baton Rouge. And I'll never forget, Dookie was on the front porch and I said, Dookie, where's Leah? And I went in and I looked at Leah, and the first words out of her mouth, she said, John, I'm finished. I'm done. John, I done lost everything. And I said, Leah, you ain't lost nothing. You just got water in the building. That's all you got. And you know the rest of that story. The world came to Leah's doorstep.
And when I did come back, then I was up there and I worked with John Fosse. John Fosse was, oh gosh, he was magnificent. He would go around begging. He said, you know, my friend Leah, she lost everything. She doesn't have this. You need to help her. So he got people to give me money. He built that bar for me. He helped me. And everybody came to this city and helped everybody.
Chef John Fosse, Ella Brennan, Chef John Besh, colleagues, not competitors, joined with so many others in the business world and the community to help their friend. Together they managed to lift her spirits. Friends even saved most of the art from the encroaching mold. As it was for so many others, rebuilding took time, years even, to make a full comeback.
One of the funniest stories I think that Leah and I shared, the second gumbo zab day after the flood, I came to Holy Thursday with a group of friends, and I happen to have my chef jacket on. So I'm walking around her dining room and people are clapping and Leah's in the kitchen and she hears all of this noise, you know. So I'm shaking hands and have my chef coat on, and Leah walks out and she sees me walking through this massive dining room full of people, and she walks over to the microphone and she says, I can't believe that John Fosse is walking through my dining room shaking hands and taking credit for my gumbo zab. Everybody in the restaurant went crazy.
Even after the success and popularity of the restaurant, the Chases never wanted to leave this area. For many years, a housing project stood next door. Sometimes the aging homes and buildings nearby would get run down. But they loved the people and the area. This was exactly where they wanted to be, surrounded by family, many of them working in the restaurant.
Cleo is my niece. Cleo been in here for some 30-some years. I could not do without her.
And my mother felt that we should never leave this community. We had the opportunity before we remodeled to maybe look at other sites in the city, but this is home to us.
There is now a Dookie Chases in the airport, a taste of Creole cooking for those on their way to or from somewhere else. Actually, the chef's favorite meal isn't Creole at all. Leah Chase loves meatballs and spaghetti. She doesn't like coffee, and she really doesn't like people messing with her food, even if they are a president of the United States. She is served too, President Barack Obama and President George W. Bush.
Leah Chase is hailed as the queen of Creole cuisine.
While accepting an award from the prestigious James Beard Foundation, she told a story about chastising Mr. Obama for adding hot sauce to her gumbo before even tasting it.
I cooked for about 2 presidents, and they're wonderful people. Poor Mr. Obama, we had a fight the first time, but Mr. Obama from Chicago, what you know about gumbo? Nothing. Nothing.
When President George W. Bush came to Dookie's to help celebrate the reopening of the restaurant, Leah enlisted the help of her friend John Foles and his crew in the kitchen.
At the end of the meal, after it was all over and done, I stuck my head out of the kitchen like this, and Leah's telling all these stories at the table. And I said, Leah Chase, you've been having me slave all day in that kitchen back there, promising me that I was going to meet the President of the United States. You done walked him 5 or 6 times within 2 feet of me and never mentioned my name one time. I said, you think I'm your slave or something? And Leah Chase said, ain't it time for you to be my slave? And the President, everybody just fell out.
When Disney came to New Orleans looking for a very American story, they found one in Mrs. Chase. In The Princess and the Frog, the princess, Tiana, dreams of owning her own restaurant one day.
So Leah became a model for a princess. She had a lot of fun with that. She likes the make-believe world, and she tells visitors every year during Mardi Gras.
I tell them, I say we live fairy tale, but that's all right. Fairy tales are good sometimes. Mardi Gras time is our make-believe time. We make believe we queens, we make believe everything, and then we come back and go to work the next day. So it's just fun to do that.
Even her restaurant supplies a bit of whimsy and fantasy for her.
When I first built this, I wanted that dining room to be a dining room, and then I had a parlor in there with the antique when I thought I was Scarlett O'Hara. But now I think it's time to get over that, and I'll put some more tables back there where I can seat some more people.
It had to be you. It had to be you. You see, I wandered around, and I finally found.
Still singing to his love on her birthday, the two of them stood together through so much. And Leah realizes how much it cost him.
To make me feel good as much as I could when I'm around you.
He loved his music, and I always feel sorry that he could not continue his music, because he is great at music, and he was a great musician. So he sacrificed a lot of his life to make this thing work.
In November of 2016, Edgar Dookie Chase Jr. passed away, leaving behind his love and his legacy. And as she has handled her grief and sorrow throughout her long life, Leah Chase keeps working.
I pray a lot. You know, I'm a strong believer in prayers. I believe that whether it's fashionable or not fashionable, I pray every day. And I pray for people that I know. I pray because I'm thankful for what I have, and I pray for the strength to just go on and just do what I have to do.
Coming from a place of impossibilities in the mind of the world to a place where she's looking at a pot of Wiener jambalaya as her first opportunity to put a taste of Leah Chase in the mouth of New Orleans. To then be sought out globally for her talents, to be recognized by every imaginable food organization, to be just bowed to in homage to this woman. My God, how can you even express in words what accomplishment that is?
It's been a long road, and all along the way, she just takes the next step, welcomes all who cross her path, and wonders what she's going to cook tomorrow.
She always says that she hopes she can live long enough to pay everybody back who helped her along the way.
Now I'm getting slow, and that's the worst part of getting old. You're getting slow. It's the dickens. So, and my legs are beginning to get wobbly or whatever. So it slows me down. But I like to prepare food, and I like to have it done right and fixed out there nice so people can eat it and enjoy it. And I think I will be happy doing that for the rest of my life.
And nobody else gave me a thrill. Deep in my heart, Leah, my darling, I love you still. It had to be you. Wonderful you. Nobody but you. Ba 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 ba.
Thank you, honey. Thank you so much.
Funding for Leah Chase, the Queen of Creole Cuisine, is made possible by the Whitney Institute, the Rhodes Family Businesses, the Dillard University Ray Charles Program in African American Material Culture, the Nellie Murray Feast Committee, Liberty Bank, McElhaney Company, Entergy Corporation, Richard and Linda Friedman, Harrah's New Orleans City Council Community Support Grant, Talbot Realty Group, New Orleans Auction, Susan and Fayez Seraphim, Patrick F. Taylor Foundation, International House, Metro Service Group, Richard's Disposal, Friends of Leah Chase, Chef Susan Spicer, and Ed Marshall.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Robin Merrick, and we are watching Leah Chase, the Queen of Creole Cuisine. I'm joined by Betsy Miller, and we are having a grand time here in the LPB studios. And now is your time to give us a call, and you pledge your support to LPB because you are so enjoying the program that we are all watching right now.
And you probably want to know what you can get as a thank you if you make your pledge right now. So I'm going to tell you what you get. If you become a sustaining member at the $20 a month level, you get the Leah Chase combo, which includes 2 of her cookbooks, Leah Chase and I Still Cook, and the second one is the Dookie Chase cookbook. In addition, you receive a pair of Dookie Chase coffee mugs, or I would call them coffee mugs or mug mugs, whatever, and you get the copy of this program DVD. So that's at the $20 sustaining level. For $12 a month, you get the combination of both of the cookbooks, and at the $9 a month sustaining level, you receive the mugs. For a $6 a month gift, you receive a copy of this DVD that you're watching. So we hope that you're thrilled. You want to get some memories from Dookie and Leah Chase. Pick up the phone, 888-769-5000, and make your pledge of support to Louisiana Public Broadcasting. You know, when you do that, you qualify for a few other things. You can become a member of Passport, which gives you access to all of PBS programming on your time schedule when you like, on, on your iPad in the middle of the night when you wake up. But you also get Visions magazine, which is our monthly program guide, and you get 6 times a year Louisiana Life magazine. These are wonderful cultural pieces of information about what's happening in and around Louisiana.
Absolutely.
So now's the time.
Absolutely.
Pick up the phone, make that gift, 888-769-5000, or you can text GIVE to that same number. You want to tell us about some of the menu items or some of the special things
Before
we
I
have?
get to the menu items, because the menu items are important at Dookie Chase, and here's why they're important, because of the $750 credit card opportunity that you have. So if you give us a call and you're our first caller, $750 on your credit card, you will have a dinner for 4 at Dookie Chase. And yes, the menu items are amazing. We have a copy of the menu here. We downloaded it because we wanted to talk about how good the food is. But you get a dinner for 4, that's you and 3 others at Dookie Chase in New Orleans. You also get all of the thank you gifts that we talked about just now. So all of those thank you gifts that you can receive, the 2 cookbooks, the 2 mugs, as well as a DVD of this afternoon's program. And in addition to all of that, you get a specially curated box just for you. It's got all kinds of Louisiana products in it. You name it, it may just well be in your box. So all these products that are unique to Louisiana will be in this box for you. Here's an example of one of them, but each of them looks a little bit different. So give us your call and your pledge of support if you want to get those items. That's $750, and then we've got this amazing challenge going on as well.
Yes.
I understand. I think, is our challenge still going on? It is.
Yes, the challenge is still going on, and it's the board, the Friends of the Louisiana Public Broadcasting Board, has made a gift of $1,500, which will match dollar for dollar whatever pledges come in during this program alone. So now's the time to pick up the phone, get that match, double your money, and also help us with our programming and sustaining activities around here at LPB, because one thing that you may or may not know is that we have to buy the programs that we show.
Everything that you see is purchased.
Yes, and so when you make a pledge of support, you support us in many ways. You tell us the kinds of things that you like to watch, but you also sustain and support the kinds of programming that we're able to put on television. And you know, it's education, it's arts, it's drama, it's music, it's many things.
It's all things.
It's
LPB
all
is everything.
Yes.
And it's so everything that we've got Chef John Folse joining us right now with a special message for everyone.
Hi everyone, I'm Chef John Folse. When I think of Louisiana, I naturally think of gumbo, crawfish etouffee, and jambalaya, but I also think of LPB. Louisiana Public Broadcasting is a treasure for our state, and that's why I want to personally thank each and every one of you for supporting LPB through your membership. You are making a difference. I join LPB in wishing all of you a happy holiday and a wonderful new year.
And we are back. Thank you, Chef John Folse, for that message. And reminders to everyone, 888-769-5000 is the number to call in your pledge of support to LPB right now. And remember, amazing thank you gifts, and Betsy's going to share those with us one more time, because we don't want you to forget what you can receive, because LPB, we love to say thank you when you contribute.
We love to say thank you. So for a gift, a sustaining gift of $20 a month, you will receive the Leah Chase combination package, which includes 2 of her cookbooks. It's Leah Chase and Still I Cook. And then secondly, you get the Dookie Chase cookbook. In addition to that, you get a pair of Dookie Chase mugs, which are lovely. They're quite delightful to add to your mug collection. And in addition, you get a copy of this program DVD. For a gift at the sustaining level of $12 a month, you receive the pair of cookbooks. For a gift at $9 a month, you receive a pair of Dookie Chase mugs. And at a gift of $6 a month, you will receive a copy of this program on DVD. And we'd like to encourage you to make this gift call now, 888-769-5000. The Friends of LPB Board have made a matching gift to us for this program of $1,500, and we certainly don't want that to go to waste, so we hope that you make your call and we get to match your pledge. In addition, there's a super special $750 gift.
That credit card pledge, yes, $750 on your credit card, and you will receive a dinner for 4, along with all of the thank you gifts that you've heard about so far, as well as the special curated box of Louisiana products. And so remember, this is a dinner for 4 at Dookie Chase. So you've got all of these great menu items.
Oh yes, and I'm
from.
looking at them. Shrimp Dookie.
I know, we were
barbecue
trying
shrimp,
to
oysters Norman,
map out what we were going to have. Yes.
Yes.
So
what I would
starting
love-
off with the oysters Norman, yeah, that would be an appetizer, and then going into the Creole gumbo for our soup. And we would probably do a 5 or 6 course meal, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I think we could go all out, and we know that it's going to be scrumptious because it's curated
amazing.
from Leah's personal collection of recipes, and they have maintained true to that.
That's right, because the restaurant is still family owned, and we want to hear a bit from her family, her 2 children who were interviewed earlier, Stella and Edgar III.
Edgar
We'll
III.
stop and hear that real fast.
A 5th generation of the Chase family continues the legacy.
We tell everybody that our family holds the key to the door, but this place belongs to the community. And we try to make them proud of it. So that's why we make the sacrifices necessary to keep it up and to keep it going.
And the rest is kind of history.
Rest is history.
The rest is history, hard work, a lot of blessing. And and it's our legacy that we're proud of and that we pass on. But what makes us happy now is that when we walk into the dining room, we see people from all over, all races, all ethnic groups, everyone coming here and having that good time and enjoying the food. And then, I think, oh, we've made it, because this is what they envisioned. Not separate, because they worked for us to be able to come together and, appreciate everyone's culture and enjoy good food in a good place. And so it's up to us and the generations that pass us, come behind us, to keep it that way.
And I think we have a special birthday.
That's
don't
right.
we?
2023 would mark Leah's 100th birthday. So the whole year, I would imagine, we'll be celebrating 2023 for Leah Chase and her children having an opportunity to come and really tell that story of how faith was so important in her life. I mean, she said that her father always told them, it was all about, God first, work hard, and then do for others.
Absolutely, and she did for a long time. And especially now, her red coat, the signature red jacket, that's in the African American Museum of History and Culture today.
The Smithsonian,
and
yes.
that tells us a little bit about how important Leah Chase was, and it extended not just to her family, but to musicians in the city of New Orleans and everybody who's had the opportunity to go eat at her special restaurant, and continue to do that today.
Yes.
So we hope you want to win that special dinner for 4.
Dinner for 4.
Pick
It's
up the
worth it.
phone,
I'm telling you, it's worth it.
888-769-5000.
That's right.
Have anything else we need to share or say?
Oh, always something more. Thank you gifts. Don't forget to give us that call. 888-769-5000 is the number to call to get the great thank you gifts. And we want to show these mugs so that everybody can see what the mugs look like, right?
Absolutely.
These mugs come at the $6 a level, I think. If that's squared away. Nope, it's the $9 a month.
Yes, $9 a month for a sustaining member. So if you don't get the whole combo for $20 a month, which includes the cookbook, frankly, I'm kind of a cookbookaholic. That would be the gift level that I would be going for.
Show up at Betsy's house for the things that she's going to cook.
I'm not sure I can do it as well as they do it, but I would give it a try. So pick up the phone, 888-769-5000.
All right, thanks everyone. Good night. We're back to the program.